My name is Emma, 32 years old, and this is the story of the years I've lived, loved, and fought to rebuild from the ashes of my choices. If I had to compare my life to anything, it'd be a cocktail, a tangled mix of bitter, sweet, and fiery notes, not always easy to swallow. There were days I thought I could remix it, balance the flavors just right. But life, I've learned, isn't as pliable as a martini shaker. It's raw, chaotic, and sometimes it burns all the way down. I manage a bar in the pulsing heart of New York City. A refuge where neon lights and thumping music drown out the city's relentless churn. Radiant Nights, my bar, is a small oasis in this concrete jungle. A place where lost souls gather to spill their secrets, chase fleeting joys, or hide from their shadows. I love this job, the craft of curating playlists that shift the room's soul, mixing cocktails that spark laughter, and trading stories with strangers who feel like kin by last call. It's where I feel in control, a rare tether in life's unpredictable storms. Each night, as the soft glow of the lights dances across rows of gleaming bottles, I'm woven into a vibrant world where possibilities shimmer like ice in a tumbler. I grew up in a modest Brooklyn brownstone, raised by my mother after my parents' divorce when I was 7. The split carved a quiet wound in me, a longing for a whole family I never dared voice. My father fled to Chicago, sending birthday cards with crisp $20 bills but little warmth, leaving me to piece together his absence. My mom, a nurse with calloused hands and a fierce heart, worked double shifts to keep us fed. I'd watch her come home at dawn, eyes heavy but smile steady, and vowed I'd never lean on anyone the way she had to. By 10, I was selling lemonade on the sidewalk, dodging jeers from neighborhood kids to earn a few bucks. At 16, I waitressed at a greasy diner, balancing trays of burgers while memorizing math formulas. Nights were spent crafting jewelry, beaded bracelets, wire-wrapped pendants, sold online to afford college textbooks. I'd stay up past midnight, fingers sore, dreaming of a life I could shape. College was a grind. I studied marketing at NYU, drawn to its promise of creativity. But the scholarships barely covered tuition. So I juggled jobs, barista by day, tutor by night. My dorm room was a chaos of coffee mugs and half-finished designs. But I thrived on the hustle. After graduation, I landed marketing gigs. But the cubicle life was a cage, endless spreadsheets, beige walls, and bosses who dimmed my spark. I craved a space where I could breathe, where life pulsed with color. At 24, I started saving, skipping meals and second-hand shopping to build a nest egg. A year later, I took a leap, sinking every penny into opening Radiant Nights. The building was a rundown husk, its walls peeling, but I saw potential. I painted it myself, hauled crates of liquor, and strung up the neon sign with trembling hands. Opening night, as customers raised their glasses under the flickering lights, I felt alive. My mom, tears in her eyes, hugged me tight, whispering she was proud. That bar became my heart, my rebellion against a world that tried to box me in. Then I met Noah. He wandered into Radiant Nights one stormy evening, guitar slung over his shoulder, his shy half-smile cutting through the rain-soaked gloom. Noah was an up-and-coming indie singer, his voice a raw blend of grit and longing that stopped me cold. Each lyric felt like a secret meant just for me, pulling me into his orbit. After his set, I offered him a whiskey on the house, and we talked until the bar emptied, the city's hum fading outside. He spoke of his childhood in Miami, busking on beaches under blazing sunsets, and his dream of headlining arenas. I shared my fantasy of opening a bar in Aspen, nestled in cool mountain air among towering pines. We were strangers bound by a love for late nights, music, and the slow burn of liquor. Our romance caught fire fast, fierce, wild, and a little reckless. Noah loved to drink, and I was no stranger to it. After closing the bar, we'd linger, spinning old vinyl records, Dylan, Joni Mitchell, and sipping until the world blurred. He'd take my hand, sing songs he'd written, his voice wrapping me in warmth. We'd dance in the empty bar, laughing under the neon, or slip out to Brooklyn rooftops, sharing stories under a sky that never slept. Early days were magic, picnics in Central Park with cheap wine, late-night diner runs for greasy fries, his gigs where I'd cheer from the front row, heart swelling as he sang. We'd wander Manhattan at dawn, hands linked, the city ours, but cracks crept in. No's gigs stretched later, his excuses flimsier, A missed dinner. A vague manager meeting. I'd wait at the bar, nursing a gin, my doubts growing. His ambition burned brighter than his promises. And I felt him slipping away, even as I clung to the thrill of his presence. The way his music made my pulse race. Then I got pregnant, one careless night, and my world shifted. I found out while working the bar. A wave of nausea sending me to the bathroom. The pregnancy test's 2 lines stared back, and I sank to the tile, heart hammering. Noah was a mess when I told him, pacing my tiny apartment, muttering about his fledgling career and our unreadiness. I've got auditions. Emma, he said, voice tight, this could ruin everything. I was terrified too, my mind spinning with fears, money, time, the bar, but a quiet instinct urged me to keep the baby. It wasn't logic, it was a pull I couldn't name. I sat with my mom the next day, her kitchen warm with the smell of coffee. She held my hand, her eyes steady, and said, "You're stronger than you know." Her words anchored me, and I decided to move forward. With or without Noah. Noah proposed in the bar, dropping to one knee as regulars clapped and hooted. No ring, just his familiar smile and a vow to be a good father. I said yes, not swept away by love, but because I thought it was right, for the baby. For us, we had a small wedding in a Brooklyn loft. Just family and close friends. I wore a simple white dress, my mom's pearl earrings glinting. And Noah, in a crisp white shirt, sang a song he'd written. His voice trembling. My best friend, Clara, toasted us with cheap champagne. And my mom beamed, her pride a quiet fire. For a moment, I believed we could build something lasting. It was the sweetest note in our story. A fleeting high before the fall. We moved into a modest apartment in Brooklyn. A cozy space with creaky floors and a sliver of skyline view. Noah kept chasing his music, performing at dive bars and small venues, while I ran radiant nights, often until the city woke. But marriage cracked us open. I thrived on my independence, the electric hum of late nights at the bar. But Noah wanted me home, playing the dutiful wife. He grew jealous of the men who lingered at the counter, regulars. Hipsters, lonely suits, though I was just pouring drinks and making small talk. "You're flirting," he'd snap, eyes dark, and I'd fire back, "I'm working." I resented how he placed his music above everything. Staying out for gigs he swore were career-defining, leaving me to wonder if he was at a venue or a stranger's bed. His absence stung, and our conversations turned sharp, bills unpaid, schedules clashing, trust fraying like old rope. Alcohol was our kindling. I wasn't an addict, but I drank heavily, especially when stress coiled tight. Drunk, I lost control, yelling, smashing glasses, spitting venom I'd regret by dawn. Noah was worse. Drunk, he turned mean, his temper a spark to my fuse. Our fights started small, unwashed dishes, my late shifts, and spiraled into chaos. One night, I hurled a tumbler at the wall, the shatter echoing my rage. Noah punched the door, splintering wood. Another time, he threw a chair, and I screamed until my throat burned. We'd collapse into apologies, tears mixing with whiskey, vowing to change, but the cycle spun on. A trap we couldn't escape. Clara saw the bruises, on my heart, not my skin, and begged me to leave. But I brushed her off, clinging to hope. Our son, Liam, was born on a stormy day, his tiny cries piercing the rain. He was my light, the one thing that made sense in the chaos. His clear, curious eyes gave me purpose, a reason to fight. When Liam smiled, the weight of our fights lifted, if only for a moment. I tried to drink less, to be home more, cooking dinners and singing lullabies, old folk tunes my mom taught me. I'd rock Liam, his warmth grounding me, and whisper promises to be better. But Noah didn't follow. He kept performing, kept drinking, and our arguments only paused when Liam was near, his innocence a fragile shield. The breaking point came when Liam turned 1. We marked his birthday with whiskey, not cake, a choice that now haunts me. A fight erupted, maybe over Noah's late gig, maybe my slurred words. The details blur, but the fury doesn't. Drunk, I stumbled to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and screamed I couldn't take it anymore. Noah lunged to stop me, grappling for the blade, but in my frenzy, I stabbed myself in the stomach. Not deep, but blood seeped, and the shock snapped me back. Noah, pale and shaking, held me and called 911, his voice cracking. Liam, asleep in his crib, was spared the nightmare. The paramedics arrived, their lights flashing through the rain. And I was whisked away. Noah trailing behind. I was hospitalized. The wound serious but not fatal. Noah stayed by my side. His apologies a broken record. Promising to change for me. For Liam. He said he loved us. Wanted our family whole. I wanted to believe him. But the truth gnawed. Our love was shattered. The scar on my stomach became a permanent mark. Not just of the knife. But of the person I'd let myself become. My mom visited. Her face etched with worry. And urged me to leave. But I wasn't ready. I clung to the idea of Liam having a father. Fearing he'd grow up with the same ache I had. I tried to endure. I didn't want Liam fatherless. As I'd been. But Noah's promises were empty. He drank. Performed. And when angry. Turned violent. The first time he hit me was during a money fight. I shouted he wasn't pulling his weight. And his hand struck my cheek. A sharp sting that echoed in my bones. I froze. Stunned. He begged forgiveness. Tears streaming. But the damage was done. The slaps became pushes. Then punches to my shoulder. Each blow chipping away at my resolve. I didn't fight back. Not from weakness. But from fear that leaving would rob Liam of a family. Clara saw my withdrawal. My mom heard my silences. But I hid the truth. Ashamed of what I'd become. I buried my pain. At Radiant Nights, I was the perfect host. Smiling. Mixing cocktails. Bantering with customers like my world wasn't crumbling. Regulars, artists, drifters, lonely hearts. Called me their nighttime therapist. Unaware of the storm inside. But at home, the apartment was a prison. I drank more. Not for joy. But to numb the ache. The liquor that once sparked freedom now dragged me into despair. My mom pleaded with me to leave. Her voice soft but firm. And Clara cornered me one night. Eyes blazing. Saying, "You're worth more than this." Their words lingered. But I wasn't ready to break free. Then the final blow. One night, while Noah was at another bar. A stranger texted me. She sent a photo of Noah with another woman. His arm around her. And screenshots of his flirty messages. Words he'd once whispered to me. My heart sank. I checked his phone while he slept. Uncovering multiple affairs with women he met at gigs, singers, fans, bartenders, late-night texts, photos of him laughing with them. As if Liam and I were ghosts. Each message was a knife. Cutting deeper than the one I'd turned on myself. I confronted him at dawn. The apartment heavy with silence. He didn't deny it, just mumbled he felt lonely. His eyes downcast. My world collapsed. I screamed. Through his phone, the screen cracking on the floor. And declared us over. He knelt, begging, swearing he'd change. But I saw him for what he was. A man who'd chosen himself over us. I called my mom, sobbing. And she arrived within the hour. Helping me pack. Clara showed up too, her anger matching mine. And together we loaded my life. Liam's crib. My clothes. A few photos. Into her beat-up van. I took Liam and moved to my mom's apartment in Queens. Leaving Noah behind. Those first days were brutal. Liam cried for his dad. His small voice breaking me. And I wept for my failures. The Queens apartment was cramped. Its walls thin. But my mom's warmth made it home. She cooked my favorite stew. Sat with me through sleepless nights. And never judged. Clara visited daily. Bringing coffee and bad jokes. Her presence a reminder I wasn't alone. I knew I had to be strong. Liam deserved better. I threw myself into Radiant Nights. Working longer hours. Hiring a nanny for Liam. Every night, I came home, held him, and whispered promises that we'd make it. His soft breaths my anchor. Taking the breakup to court was a gut punch. But I needed to secure Liam's future. I hired Sarah, a sharp lawyer I met through a bar regular who'd seen her win tough cases. When I told her Noah and I never registered our marriage, she grimaced, adjusting her glasses. "This complicates things, Emma," she said, her voice calm but frank. "No marriage license means no spousal rights. But we can hold Noah accountable for Liam as his legal father. It won't be easy, but we'll fight." Sarah and I spent weeks preparing. Meeting in her cluttered Manhattan office. Papers strewn across her desk. We gathered Liam's birth certificate, naming Noah as the father. And evidence of his income, gig contracts. Social media posts boasting sold-out shows. Press clippings calling him Miami's rising star. My mom helped dig through bank statements. Her fingers trembling as she recalled Noah's charm. Now tainted. Clara scoured old texts, finding Noah's promises to support us. each one a lie. I provided my earnings from Radiant Nights to show I could care for Liam but needed Noah's help. We listed shared assets, the Brooklyn apartment in my name. Noah contributed $30,000, a beat-up motorcycle, and household items, couch, TV, Liam's high chair. My mom urged fairness, not vengeance. And Clara, fierce as ever, said, nail him for Liam. Their support carried me through the sleepless nights. First court hearing was at the New York County Courthouse, a looming gray building that swallowed my courage. My palms sweated as I stood outside, dressed in a white blouse and black slacks. My mom's pearl earrings a small comfort. Liam was with my mom, and I clung to his image, his toothy grin, his tiny hands. Noah arrived, leather jacket and all, avoiding my gaze, his boots scuffing the marble floor. The judge, a stern woman in her 50s with a no-nonsense stare, called the session to order. Sarah argued that, marriage or not, Noah owed Liam support, requesting $10,000 monthly based on his earnings. She sought clarity on the apartment, noting I'd paid the bulk but acknowledging Noah's share. She also preempted any claim on Radiant Nights, presenting tax records proving I'd built it alone. Noah's lawyer, a slick young man with a shark's smile, fired back. He insisted Noah had no spousal duties, called $10,000 laughable, given Noah's unstable gigs, and claimed Noah's apartment money was a loan, demanding $30 repayment. He painted me as unfit, citing my late bar shifts and the night I stabbed myself, twisting it to question my sanity. Worst, he suggested Noah deserved a share of Radiant Nights, claiming Noah had consulted on its setup, a lie that made my blood boil. His words hit like a fist. Sarah gripped my hand under the table, whispering, "Stay strong." Emma, my mom, in the gallery, gave me a steady nod, her presence a lifeline. I fought tears as the judge demanded more evidence, bank records, gig contracts, bar financials, and adjourned the hearing. Outside, Clara hugged me, cursing Noah's lawyer, while my mom made tea at home, her quiet strength easing the sting. I felt defeated, but Sarah was unfazed. "This is round one," she said. "We've got this." First encounter outside court. Days later, I spotted Noah outside a coffee shop near Radiant Nights. The New York drizzle soaked my coat as I lugged groceries, the city's horns blaring in the wet dusk. He called my name, voice soft, and I hesitated, rain pooling at my feet, but sat at an outdoor table, the awning dripping. He looked worn, eyes red, stubble rough. He said he regretted his affairs, his anger, the man he'd become. "I love you and Liam," he said, voice catching. "Let's try again. Emma, I'll quit the late gigs. Be there." Memories of our early days flickered, dancing in the bar, his songs under the neon, but his betrayal burned brighter. The faces of those women etched in my mind. "No, Noah," I said, voice steady despite the rain's chill. "Liam deserves better, and I'm done living your lies." He reached for my hand, but I pulled away, the city's pulse drowning his pleas as I walked off, my steps firm, a weight lifting with each stride. Second court hearing was 2 weeks later, the courthouse air thick with tension. Sarah presented bank records proving Noah's apartment contribution, $30 in messy transfers, plus texts where he called it our home. His words now a trap. I submitted expense logs, detailing every diaper, doctor's visit, and grocery run I'd covered for Liam. Clara testified, her voice fierce, praising my devotion as a mother, her eyes daring Noah to look at me. My mom sat in the gallery, knitting to calm her nerves, her presence a quiet anchor. Noah's lawyer countered with Noah's erratic gig schedule, waving flyers for half-empty shows to argue his income couldn't support $10,000. He requested partial custody, claiming Noah's growing fame offered Liam stability, a claim that twisted my gut. He doubled down on Radiant Nights, producing a forged receipt suggesting Noah had bought bar equipment. Another lie. Panic gripped me at the custody claim, the thought of losing Liam, a knife to my chest. Sarah objected, her voice steel, citing Noah's absence in Liam's life and his violent past. I was called to speak, my throat tight. Noah's hit me, cheated on me, left us, I said, voice shaking but clear. I work nights to feed Liam. Love him every second. He's my world. Noah admitted his cheating, head bowed, but blamed me for pushing him away. His voice low. My mom's proud gaze steadied me. Clarice not a spark. The judge ordered mediation. citing the heated claims, and I left trembling. My mom cooking soup that night. Clara ranting about nose gall. Their love holding me up. Second encounter. A week later. Noah texted, asking to meet at a park near my mom's. Autumn leaves crunched underfoot. The Manhattan skyline sharp against a gray sky. He handed me a toy truck for Liam. Its bright plastic out of place in the chill. A cold breeze cut through as he spoke of gig rejections. The pressure that broke him. I was wrong. Emma, he said, eyes wet, I'll quit drinking. Focus on you and Liam. Give us a chance. I saw the boy I'd loved, his shy smile. His songs, but the man he'd become loomed larger, his fists. His lies. The women who filled my nightmares. You can be Liam's dad. Noah, but we're over, I said, my voice firm, the ache in my chest no match for my resolve. He nodded, silent, and I walked away, the park's quiet wrapping me like a shield. The city's hum a distant pulse. Third court hearing was a battlefield. The courthouse a maze of echoes. Sarah submitted my hospital report from the stabbing. Its stark details, blood loss, stitches, proof of nose violence. I provided Radiant Nights, financials, tax forms dating back years, showing I'd built it before Noah, crushing his claim. Clara returned, testifying about my late-night calls, how I'd sobbed but never wavered for Liam. My mom brought photos, me and Liam at the zoo, his tiny hand in mine, to counter Noah's lies. Noah's lawyer fought dirty, flashing bar photos of me pouring shots, questioning my fitness. He produced a witness, a former regular. Paid off, I'd bet, who claimed I'd left Liam alone. A lie that made me gasp. I broke down, tears streaming, but stood to speak. I'm not perfect, I said, voice raw. I work for Liam, love him, live for him, knows the one who hurt us. My mom's nod was a beacon. Clara's grip a lifeline. The judge postponed the ruling, scheduling a fourth hearing, citing the tangled assets and custody fight. The wait was torture, the fear of losing Liam a shadow that clung to me. Third encounter. Days before the final hearing. Noah appeared at Radiant Nights after closing. The bar was empty, the neon dim, the city's hum faint beyond the windows. He stood by the jukebox, hands in pockets, and said he'd signed a record deal. That success could rebuild us. We were good once. Emma, he pleaded, his voice echoing in the silence. You loved my music, my heart. Let's try. I remembered our dances here, his songs filling the air. But the scars, on my body, my heart, spoke louder. The bar was mine, built from my sweat, not his promises. That's gone. Noah, I said, locking eyes, my voice steady as the city outside. I choose Liam, and me. He left, head bowed, and I locked the door. The silence my victory, the bar my fortress, its neon a glow I'd earned. Fourth court hearing. The verdict came. The courthouse air heavy with finality. Noah was ordered to pay $8 monthly for Liam, based on his average earnings. Sarah's calculations airtight. The apartment was ruled joint, and I had to repay Noah $20,000, 40% of his contribution, within 6 months. A debt that loomed like a storm. Radiant Nights was deemed mine alone. The judge dismissing Noah's claim with a sharp nod. I got full custody. Noah allowed weekend visits. A win that felt fragile but real. I left sobbing, relieved but daunted, my mom's embrace warm, Clara whooping like we'd won a war. Sarah smiled, her calm a rock, and I thanked her, my voice thick. Life after the hearings. I poured my soul into Radiant Nights. The bar my lifeline. I sold the motorcycle, its roar a memory, and borrowed from my mom to pay Noah. Her trust a gift I swore to repay. The bar thrived as I launched indie music nights, booking local bands whose raw energy packed the place. I started open mic nights, poets and singers spilling their hearts, turning Radiant Nights into a hub for New York's underground scene. Customers, artists, dreamers, loners, called it home, their stories blending with mine. I hired a barista for daytime shifts, serving coffee to freelancers, the bar alive around the clock. Single motherhood was a gauntlet. Liam's fevers kept me up, his cries piercing the Queen's night. Bills piled high, rent, nanny, bar repairs, and I stretched every dollar. Skipping meals, wearing threadbare coats, haggling with suppliers for deals. My mom brought groceries, her stews a taste of home. And Clara babysat, her laughter filling the apartment. I'd collapse at dawn, Liam's warmth beside me, and rise again, driven by his giggle. The $20,000 debt haunted me. But I chipped away, saving tips in a jar, each coin a step toward freedom. Liam, now 4, is my son. His questions, why stars shine, where dinosaurs went, who his dad is, light my world. We read bedtime stories, drive Seuss fairy tales, build blanket forts in the living room, and chase pigeons in the park. His laugh a melody. When he asks about Noah, I answer gently, shielding him from pain, saying, your dad's finding his way. But I'm here always. Noah visits rarely, his promises fading like smoke, his record deal pulling him to LA. I don't hate him. I pity what we lost. A love that burned too fast. Radiant Nights is my rebirth. Its neon glow my strength. I've hung local art on its walls, each piece a story, and started a fund for struggling musicians, giving back what the bar gave me. Customers notice my smile, real now, not forced, and call me boss with a wink. My mom visits, proud, and Clara dances with me on slow nights. The jukebox our guide, holding Liam, his small hand in mine. I know the road's long, bills, dreams, fears, but with him, I'm ready to shine. The city's pulse my heartbeat, the bar my home.